we're back and we're moving into another segment focusing on an upcoming activity being coordinated by the Ministry of Health through the National Drug Abuse Control Council, NDACC. We're talking about World No Tobacco Day. I have with me on set Alfred Anderson, who is the coordinator for NDACC in Orange Walk, and we have the acting treatment and rehabilitation supervisor for NDACC, Errol Longsworth. Good morning and welcome.
Morning.
So May 31st is officially the day that across the world people commemorate this day, World No Tobacco Day, and in Belize we'll be joining in on that celebration. So I want to talk first about what the global picture is and how Belize compares.
Well, firstly, the 31st of May marks the World No Tobacco Day, which highlights the harmful effects of smoking tobacco and the deadly effects, and also how the exposure of smoke affects people, and how we also to bring awareness about how the use of tobacco products affects people worldwide. Now this year, to bring it down to this year, last year was all about the heart. This year, the whole theme is about tobacco and health lungs, because we live every day aspiring new experience, and a lot of things takes our breath away. And to live a healthy and productive life, we need healthy lungs, which is the main focus of breathing in fresh air, enjoying every experience. So the theme for this year, World Tobacco Day, is tobacco and lungs health.
Yeah. And what about the problem, though? What are we seeing? I mean, I know there have been some studies with high schools to find out what usage is like. We know they're sufficient smokers because you see sales across the country. But in that sense, when you're walking around of constant fogs of smoke, as you see in some other countries when you're traveling, do we know how many users there are or what the type of consumption is like and what age?
Well, our last survey was the Global Youth Tobacco Survey, which was conducted in 2004, so it's quite outdated. And we have a bid in to redo another one so we could get up-to-date data. But in that one, it shows that there was a 12% of the population between the adolescents age that were smoking. And along with that, when it comes to secondhand smoking, we had 8% of the population was exposed to secondhand smoke at home, while 43% was exposed to secondhand smoke in public spaces. So that shows a lot that, you know, people are being affected by smoke. And because smoke is just, you can't see it much, but you can breathe it in and it affects you because it has so much chemicals, and with 69 of them are carcinogens.
And Anderson, tell me, Alfred, sorry. Tell me about this situation in Orange Walk specifically. And do you get people who come into NDACC and talk to you about, you know, getting a family member to quit smoking or to quit smoking for themselves?
Yes, in Orange Walk we have a lot of persons that come to seek help. We also have the outreach unit that does the counseling. Also, in Orange Walk we see a lot of secondhand smoking. When I'm working in the schools and you start like asking questions, you have students that tell you, I do not smoke, but at my house my parents smoke or my cousin smokes, you know. So it's mostly secondhand smoking that I meet in schools.
So talk to me from a rehabilitation or treatment standpoint, what we do.
So one of my recent cases was with a teenager girl. She is the age of 15, and her reason for smoking is that she just can't deal with the stress. Talking to them, it brings perspective into the light that young people are faced with a lot of challenges. It doesn't seem that way because, you know, they're just teenagers and they're supposed to be enjoying life, but they're going through a lot. And the coping mechanism for them is smoking. But they don't see the negative effect of smoking, how it's affecting them, especially at that tender age where they're still developing, and how the amount of damage is being done on their lungs, which is in the growth process, and then they might end up with chronic respiratory disease or even develop asthma.
And NDACC offers treatment for people? I mean, what do you do if somebody comes in? Because I know you work with all forms of addiction,
Yes.
And it's been clearly established addiction is a disease,
Yes.
which for some people it means psychological care, but it takes a lot of effort as well.
Yeah.
What type of rehabilitation processes do we have in place?
So mainly the treatment and rehabilitation unit, we are basically a referral agency.
Okay.
But because of the lack of a lot of referrals places for us to send the people who need the help, all we offer is brief intervention. After we conduct a screening and assessment to find out if they're at a low risk, moderate risk, or high risk, that is where we establish what type of help the individual might need, maybe an inpatient or outpatient center.
Yeah.
Then if it's inpatient, then we'll provide sessions with them just to, through motivational interviews, to get the person into a position where they want a change in their life.
Yeah, because that's key. You can't
That's
force
key.
anybody
Okay,
to stop
yeah.
anything.
And then we're not the police. People always say, okay, you guys, because we were under the police once, but now we're under the Ministry of Health.
Yeah.
And so they feel like, well, we can't tie them down to us, but
Yeah.
through reaching out to them in a very positive way, letting them know that, there is hope for you, giving that encouragement and trying to put them into a better stance in life.
Yeah. So for World No Tobacco Day, how are you going to get the message out?
Basically, we normally did health fairs. This year we are doing health fair and also a forum, an educational forum.
Okay.
We invited Dr. Roque Blanco, Dr. Andre Coy, and Dr. Jorge Polanco to be our presenters at the forum. We open invitation to schools. So far we have confirmation of approximately 220 students to attend the forum. It's going to be held tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the Gala Lounge in Orange Walk.
Yeah. So most of your activities will be taking place in Orange Walk.
In Orange Walk.
Yeah. You're trying to rotate it, you said?
Every year we're trying to rotate it. This year is Orange Walk.
Okay.
So when the forum is on, we also are going to have health fairs outside with different agencies and stakeholders, also open to the community.
Yeah.
And the health fair are going to be in front of the police station and the court. So it's accessible to commuters by.
Yeah, yeah. And what type of information are they going to be getting there?
It's mainly revolve around the topic of tobacco and lungs health and how tobacco is affecting the lungs health, because in this year we have 5 main categories, which is lung cancer, tuberculosis and smoking, air pollution, chronic respiratory disease, and yeah, basically that.
Yeah.
Oh, and across the course of life, how in premature kids and pregnant mothers, how smoking affects them. So we have 5 main topics, and so the main idea will revolve around those topics.
You know, we've seen where a lot of people have taken the warnings about tobacco use and perhaps moved away from cigarettes, but moved towards electronic cigarettes.
Easy.
What do we know, and what's your messaging about that? Is that a safer alternative? Is it, and especially for young people where it seems very cool to be, vaping as they move around. What do we know about that so far, and how does that fit into the campaign?
Well, the whole campaign revolves around the use of no tobacco in any form. So we still encourage and we talk about it does affect you likewise, because all it does is cut down the number of chemicals that you're pushing into your lungs. So you're still being affected by it, but because of the hype of the moment and the glamour of the smoking, because they put out a lot of image, just with smoking tobacco, the campaign of selling is bigger than the campaign of stopping. So it's something that we have to fight for, or fight against, but the campaign is across the board, tobacco in any form.
Yeah, so even your electronic ones.
Yes.
Is that what you encounter more when you talk to young people?
Not really, not much. I guess it's because of the cost of it and everything, so it's not really available it's out there, but the access to it, so cigarette is very cheap, you can just, just to calm down the nerves a little bit.
Oh, wow. Now, what do you offer to people? So somebody comes and says they want to quit. What do you offer to them?
So the plan is first to establish how far you are in your addiction. We need to know that to establish what all we can offer at the council, if we have it. And once we have established that you are at a low risk, moderate risk, then we do the motivational interview. But if you're at a high risk, that is when we reach out to either the psychiatric nurse, where they can be maybe prescribe some type of medication that can help, maybe nicotine patch or anything, to help combat the cravings and everything, or with any rehab center that may help with that.
Okay. And tomorrow, when you have your activity in Orange Walk, is it open? You said you have about 200 students that are going to be coming, but can other people stop in as well?
Yes, also we sent invitation to the schools for the students to come in. Also, we're opening it for the commuters around. The health fair is going to be downstairs in the street.
Yeah.
And also the doors are going to be open for who wants
Anyone
to come
who
in.
wants to stop in, yeah.
Stop in and be part of it.
And the doctors are going to be presenting on the threats?
Yeah, mainly around the 5 ideas that I mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the health fair is also ongoing at the same time as the forum.
Yeah. We're trying to reach not only the students, but the wider publics, because the campaign is for everyone, because lung health affects everybody. And if we have healthy people with healthy lungs, we have a healthy breathing nation.
And even if you're not a smoker, the secondhand smoke, I think, is what affects most people.
Yeah. Because the amount of chemicals that you take out, the other person takes all that in. That's why this secondhand smoking is as much greater as first-hand smoking. Then we also have our third-hand smoking, which is when the people are in a room and the scent stays in the room for up to 5 hours. So if you enter a room where somebody has recently smoked, you're still being exposed to all that chemicals and everything from tobacco.
Yeah. All right. What else would you like people to know about World No Tobacco Day? What's your final message to people who are watching, and if they want to know more about what you do or why they should quit, or any of the information that you have to offer through NDACC?
Basically, I want them to know that we have a lot of young people that are innocent. They do not smoke. So but they are around persons that smoke. So I want for the persons who are doing it to think of their loved ones and to think about the person who is beside them.
Yeah. All right.
And also, the NDACC, we have done a lot of work in trying to work towards getting tobacco control. So the government has signed on to the Framework Convention of Tobacco Control. So there's a lot of prohibition when it comes to smoking in public spaces, smoking in government buildings, smoking in restaurants, and places where people are together. So please respect the rights of people and don't expose them to a threat that they are unwillingly or not aware of. So don't expose them to that danger in life.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in, and best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking to Shehan Kelly from House of Sharakan about the school intruder tactical training. So stay tuned.